All right, so I'm Dean, owner of a phenomenal recruiting agency, VANTA Partners. I'm here with Keith Algozzine. He is the man, the myth, and the legend over at UCM Digital Health. And just to kick things off, Keith, why don't you give me a rundown, right? Tell me a little bit about you and a little bit about the company UCM Digital Health.
We recognized the primal need that patients had to just come to one place, that no matter who they were, how sick they were, whether it was minor, major, whether they're young, old, whether it's for themselves or their grandparents or their children, or whether they have no medical problems or a million medical problems, whether they have an orthopedic problem, a cardiac problem, an infectious disease problem. Everybody could culminate on this one place, and you could show up, and a team of people were standing ready saying, I got you, and I'm going to take care of you until you're safe. And that could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 hours, it could be 5 days in the hospital. But that primal need for that solution, for no matter what's going on with me, I can show up and have an entire team, not just one person, take care of me and figure this out. You couldn't really get rid of that. And no matter how hard people in the healthcare system wanted people to stop going there, unless you solve that primal need in another way, they were going to keep coming. So that's what we did. Let's solve it with a digital first company where we keep that same approach, right? We have a digital team of healthcare experts, really founded in emergency medicine, but also added primary care and mental health, nursing and care coordination, and wrapped some concierge services around it. But that core DNA of like, we've got an ER team here, just pick up the phone or jump on your app. This team is going to help you. And whether we solve your problem completely, which many times we can through, phone, video, or chat. But even if we could solve your problem completely, just like in the ER, we may have to transfer you to another hospital or send you upstairs to the burn unit, or some other team member would have to help you. If we couldn't solve your problem, we would do the same thing. We would hold your hand until your problem could get solved. So really mimicking that ER access model fused with a concierge love for patients and done all virtually was UCM was born.
Fantastic. What do you do within this unbelievable company?
So for many years, I was founder and CEO. Recently, as we went through a transition of really trying to go from a founder vision, take over the world mentality to a long-term, sustainable, profitable company, we hired a professional CEO whose job is really to get that company to that long-term, sustainable, viable, profitable company. And I've moved more to an executive chair role as chairman of the board and founder. I work with the executive team to just continue to help grow the company, help maintain its mission and vision, and see that it at least stays on the path of that original founding vision.
Speaking of the professional CEO that's hired, what was the hiring process like before we came to you?
For Vanta, I think we did what all entrepreneurs do. Tried to tap my network as best we could. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I mean, I did things that were cheap and easy. Just throw something up on Indeed and just see what happens and get
post and pray.
Right. Just get some resumes and see what happens. We had tried actually a few other professional recruiters too through our venture connections. So, we did a little bit of everything, like I'm sure most people before we met you.
I hear you, and I appreciate that. I know we've worked hard to fill some super high-level roles, some mid-level roles, and all were challenging, but all were really fun to work on. Along those lines, what challenges did you have on the post and pray or using different channels prior to using VANTA Partners?
Like anybody else, your own network is the best, but the challenge there is that quickly runs out of scale for all sorts of reasons. One, your network is only so big. Two, as you get further and further away from your network, it's not really your network anymore. It's a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and that becomes less reliable. So I think just scale, like you just run out of time and space and energy with your own network. Yeah, obviously the post and pray it's just so time consuming. It's just a total shotgun approach. You get a million resumes. You don't have the time to figure it out. And the ones that are qualified, it's only qualified on paper. And then 90% of those that are qualified on paper aren't qualified really. That's just really a tough way to go. It doesn't cost much upfront, but it costs in your time and effort and energy so much more down the road. And then the professional folks that we worked with from our venture group, some were better than others, but my biggest complaint with them was, I would still say it was very cookie cut. We're going to make this work our way no matter what. I'd say that was eye-opening to me. They've got a plan, they got a process, this is what they do. And if what they do works, great, but if it doesn't, then you're kind of stuck. They're not flexible, they're not going to figure it out for you. And it's had more of a corporate feel than a personal feel.
All right. So now you're at a pivotal inflection point with UCM. You have critical open roles. You get in touch with the phenomenal team over here at VANTA Partners. But what was the initial experience like, way back when, a few years ago, when we engaged in those roles into where we are now?
I can speak to a handful of really executive leadership roles that you filled for me personally. I know that we had success in other, middle management and lower level positions, but I wasn't directly involved with them. So for the direct involvement that I had, as crazy as this sounds, this is probably such a simple answer, but it's just the truth. We just got results. I know it sounds so simple, but it's like, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care about your process. I don't care that you filled these roles with Google or whatever you're trying to impress me with. I need A. Did you give me A or did you not get me A? And you guys just delivered. So partly, I don't even know your secret sauce. And part of that was kind of the charm. What it felt like is you guys sat down, you learned our business, you understood what I was looking for. It seemed like you guys always got it. And then you just went out and got it. So in a weird way, I don't need to be impressed by your process. It was more of a gut intuition, like, okay, I think you get it. Like I believe that after talking to me and going through all the conversations that we had about these roles, I felt like you got it. And then the proof was in the pudding. You did get it because you brought people that ended up filling these roles and being great for us. So I know it probably sounds like too simple of an answer, but it's just the truth.
I think you'd recall back, we spent a little bit of additional time up front to understand the UCM digital health business, right? We didn't just say, hey, Keith, throw me over the description, we'll go out and get it. We tried to really understand the factors that go into your hiring process, tried to streamline that as best as possible for and with you. And then we want to understand the culture, right? A lot of the things that we preach here a lot is you could find folks with those hard skills. You're going to be working with them for more time than you're potentially even with your spouse. So you have to like them, right? You have to really get along with them. So sometimes the soft skills are really what are going to be the game changers in hiring. Keith, can you describe the experience that you had with VANTA Partners? And then the follow-up to that is, where did you find the most value in working with us as your recruiting team?
The experience was just more personal. Like, hey, get to know me, get to know my company, get to know my very specific need. All I can say is I felt that you got it. And so it made me feel good that you were going to go out and succeed. And then you just did succeed. I didn't get 500 candidates. I got a few. And even the few you gave, honestly, you gave sort of the honest opinion, like, here's Sally, Harry, and John. I think they're all good, but telling you, take a look at Sally. I think she's the one. So even with the few that you gave, you kind of already were steering me one way that you thought might even be the best. I just found that very valuable. My time was efficient. And again, results.
So how likely, Keith, would you be in recommending VANTA Partners?
You guys are my first call for sure. I'm a big, put your money where your mouth is, right? If we wouldn't use you and use you again and again, then I wouldn't recommend you. It comes with the highest recommendation, and I will use you again in any future need.
Thank you. I don't imagine you'd just be spending all this time with me today if it wasn't a great relationship and a great experience. So thank you so much for the time, the kind words. I really, it just means a lot. And seriously, man, thank you.